And here in the final of GYSD, we have Newcastle Roller Derby taking to the track, being joined by Belfast Roller Derby. Both teams have been performing phenomenally throughout the day today. Really, really excited to see what this game is going to bring.
And I think both teams in previous years have both been finalists or in the final game for GYSD. So this will be a nice little, a nice strong game to appreciate. And a fast start with Belfast Sinn Féin with the lead.
Eggroll still fighting in the pack there. Shin powering through. Both jammers now stuck in the scrum. That is the pack of skaters.
And a star pass for Newcastle.
Sinn Féin out and scoring points. Newcastle hoping very quickly to be joining them on the scoreboard.
Darcy Tussle was not going to let them have that easily. They kept that pace up and scored a cheeky point.
Newcastle managing to scrape back 1 point there. It's going to be another close one.
Got Lady Lethal and Sabotage as the jammers for this next jam.
Oh gosh, so much excitement off the line. Newcastle losing their pivot to the penalty box.
And Lady Lethal out for Belfast. A nice little flurry of penalties there in the mix.
This is not what you want so early in the game. You don't want to have such a full penalty box. But this could lead to some very exciting roller derby. Lady Lethal fighting her way through those last two Newcastle blockers. Whilst the Belfast wall holds on to Sabotage. And just like that, the penalty box is empty again. That's the second jam down. Belfast extending their lead. Newcastle Royal Derby 1, Belfast 15.
We have Hooley and Tinkerbell as jammers for this jam.
Hooley versus Tinkerbell. A matchup made in heaven.
Tinkerbell keeping that pressure on the Belfast blockers at the front there. And just enough to secure lead and out of the pack.
And that's Tink escaping at the front, very, very quickly followed by Hooley.
Lovely control there by Tinkerbell. Just being able to stay on that track just a little bit enough just to get past.
Just long enough. Just to be able to maintain that balance, maintain that strong centre there. And Tinkerbell just preventing Hooley from scoring any more points on that pass. Newcastle shortening the gap though between the two. I know it's very early in the game. 9 plays 19. Jock and Roll versus Sinn Féin. I do love a little bit of jostling with the blockers on the jam line. Those offensive players trying to find the best position to put themselves in for their jammer. Those defensive players getting ready to get their butts on that jammer.
Shin having great awareness of who's on and off track at any point.
Again, Champagne just keeping the lid on Newcastle's scoring potential there.
So I think this is the first time I think Days has had the star on today, if I'm correct.
I think it's the first time I've seen it anyway. Great. Two very, very strong packs here. Wonderful bit of offense just on that inside line. Unfortunately, Days just wasn't quite able to take full advantage of it this time. Such strong players here.
And Days out for lead.
And Belfast with the star pass.
That's what I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
I'll forgive you this time.
Beautiful bit of dancing out of the pack there from Days. As our new Belfast jammer hits the back of the pack and escapes out the front. Such a physical game. Both teams are really bringing the energy to the track today.
Yeah, really nice energy for GYSD 2025. Just lots of really active blocking, really fast jammers. Just perfectly what we want to watch for roller derby.
Newcastle with a significant pack deficit for the beginning of this jam. 4 blockers plays 2. Those 2 blockers are really using the Belfast blockers to just remove the space on the track for those jammers.
What great blocking from these two, just to be able to hold on. As I say, that little bit of an announcer's curse as Hooley makes out on that inside for the apex. Closely followed by egg rolls for Newcastle. Coming into jam number 7 for 29 to Belfast and 17 for Newcastle roller derby. All still to play for with 22 minutes left of this half. I was going to say the game, but obviously we're at full game now, so it will be a half.
Shin Pain fighting her way through the pack at the front there. Never knowingly held in one position.
Absolutely strong packs from over here.
Such amazingly strong walls. Ooh.
Shin just showing their strength there and just blowing the back apart with their strength. I realised the nuance of what I was saying and tried to stop it, but it happened.
Beautifully timed offence there as well from the Belfast blocker. However, Champagne was just nudged off the track, which meant that she did have to be recycled. However, no sweat, right?
Good tenacity from this, from Sabotage, just pushing and fighting this whole time. Stunning.
Newcastle continuing to fight really, really hard. The jammer has removed the star and is looking for her pivot. who very wisely just reminds her that she needs to drop back. Gosh, that was a difficult jam. But what a scoreline there for Sinn Féin for Belfast. Newcastle roller derby 17, Belfast 49 after that 20-point jam.
Really need a stats person or anything, but I think that might be Shinn's third 20-point jam of the day.
I think you might be right.
At least it's definitely the second. So, close.
Tinkerbell versus Lady Lethal. Sorry, I was trying to talk into my coffee there. That's not going to work, is it?
It made me chuckle.
I definitely need more of it, right?
And Tinkerbell for lead, with Lady Lethal with a little sash to follow on after.
What a variety of jamming styles we've seen today as well.
I love a good mix-up of styles. It just shows that it doesn't matter on anything. It's just your style might work. You might need to change it up, but everything's successful in roller derby.
Absolutely. I feel like it does show that there is still the opportunity to kind of develop and grow within the sport as well, no matter what your skating style or background.
Some very lovely words from us today. Go roller derby.
It's a familiar lineup, Jock and Roll versus Hooley on the jam line. Both jammers really fighting their way through.
Very strong shoulder from lockdown then.
Both jammers quite nicely recycled, not at all. Look at those walls, look at those tripods.
Just solid.
Belfast managing to hold that jammer with just two blockers right now, as one is sent to the box and one is returning from the penalty box.
Number 28 for Belfast there, really holding strong and really trying to shut Jock and Roll down. Just hold off that lead as long as possible.
Took a full 40 seconds for the lead jammer to be called there. That's quite a slog for both jammers there. Hooley still working hard, trying to fight her way out of the back of the pack there as Jock and Roll approaches for an attack. Now, as a jammer, Gabby, what would you be doing in this situation if you'd been stuck for a little while? Obviously, Hooley has now made it out of the pack.
A little barrel roll there. Nice little flare. As long as they're okay. They look like they're smiling. So we're all good. We're all good out here.
We all like to go away with one or two derby kisses, right?
A little dazzle happening here off track, so something for the zebras to talk about. I remember from last time. Thank you. So just a little quiet reminder that at half-time we will be drawing for the raffle, so don't miss out on your opportunity to win some little goodies.
I've got my tickets.
Oh, it was a timeout, sorry. We just happened to have a dazzle and a timeout at the same time.
Well, we do know our officials like to take advantage of the opportunity to have a bit of a chat when it presents itself. Just make sure everything's just hunky-dory.
And a nice reminder to themselves that they're doing a great job.
We
Go
love our
officials.
officials. We love our officials. We couldn't play this ridiculous sport without all of the volunteers that help us to be here today. So take this opportunity to say a massive thank you to every single person who has turned up today and made today possible.
We're very grateful. Thank you.
Sinn Féin squaring up against Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell taking lead jammer.
A little bit of a star stash, and Sinn Féin is out of the pack.
Tinkerbell taking a classic shirt whip on that turn 2. Before, I think, calling it off. Or is this
a little pause
a medical
for injury?
A medical call off with that.
Yeah. So
Okay.
have a nice chat amongst yourselves. Tell yourselves we've had a great day, and recollect on all the fantastic derby we've been able to watch.
So we see a shield being formed by some of our friends here, just to allow the skater to have a little bit of privacy while the medics have a little look and make sure that they are okay.
I guess a good opportunity to shout out the medics. Also volunteers that, well, I don't know actually, I don't know. But like, great opportunity for them all to be here and to support us and also help us play this sport.
Keeping us all lovely and safe.
Yeah. Thank you, medics.
So we're approaching halfway through this first half of the Great Yorkshire Showdown final. As Sinn Féin makes her way back to her bench. We hope you're all right, Shin.
I don't know if it was Shin. I think it was the pivot that was injured. But we're glad, whomever it was, that you're okay.
Am I getting my long dark hair folk confused?
I mean, we are on the other side of the track. We can give ourselves a little bit of grace.
So we're seeing the matchup of Days versus Lady Lethal in our jammer matchup for this next jam. A dazzle of zebras, just finalising some details before we can carry on.
I love a good jammer conversation on the jam line as well before the jam starts. Just like, what did you have for lunch? I don't know, what did you have for lunch? And just any really nice comments we can say to each other and just be like, you had a really great game. And you're like, thanks. So did you. Go roller derby.
Okay, looks like we might be losing the Belfast jammer. Yep, it does look like Shin is heading to the penalty box, which means that Newcastle will be benefiting from a power jam start going into this next jam. They'll be really glad of that. Just 12 points between the two teams. This could be made up in one jam. Really should stop saying this kind of thing, though. Announcer's curse.
Exactly. And a lovely, powerful start. Sorry, we can say it at the same time.
Daisy straight out of the pack.
Woo, woo, woo.
Daisy's Newcastle blockers creating some space through the pack to enable them to slice through with as little problem as possible. But what a great little dancer along the inside line there. Such great toe-stop work.
How do jammers do it? How do they find the tiniest line?
Do it?
Like, and Shin straight out of the pack with just Ready on track aggression.
Straight through. And Newcastle just holding Shin off from. So that's a great jam for Newcastle there. Closing that gap to just 4 points. 49 to Newcastle Roller Derby, 53 to Belfast. That last 8-point jam, that power jam, really being helpful there.
Nice to see Lady Lethal back out after the temporary switch from the last jam. After a little discussion from the Zebras. With sabotage for Newcastle.
So we do have a rear pack here. With the two walls being quite separate from each other. Now we've got a split pack. And the white blocker, I think, being sent to the bin for a destruction of pack there, allowing the Newcastle jammer to get out.
Another jam where it's 40 seconds in before a lead is called. Just another great showing of blocking skill.
Such strong and determined blockers holding those jammers. But the jammers just showing incredible grit to just keep on fighting to get through those walls or around those walls. Ooh, lovely bit of footwork there. Just dancing behind those blockers. Of course, Newcastle are quite a severe deficit here with having just 2 blockers on track right now.
Sabotage really fighting this wall. Doing a great job.
Okay, feels like both sides felt a wee bit of frustration through that jam. Though Belfast were able to open up their lead a wee bit again. Still just 12 points in it. This is what you want from a great Yorkshire Showdown final.
I think it was Belfast Durham last year that also had a very close game in the final all the way through. So we could be in for another treat.
Hooley here with lead jammer. Ooh, and again, one of those lovely little hip flicks that you see from the blockers, just tapping the jammer out of the way. Ooh, looks like we might be about to have a little bit of a jammer switcheroo.
I love a little switcheroo.
I love a little switcheroo. This, of course, means that the white jammer will only have to sit for the amount of time that the black jammer sat for, which means that they are already heading back onto the track. With both jammers having spent some time in the penalty box, this does, of course, mean that this will be a 2-minute jam.
And these blockers are going to make those jammers work for every second of this 40 seconds left.
Newcastle with a lovely strategic star pass. Their jammer was feeling unsuccessful, tired. Pass that star on, let somebody else challenge that wall. Let's see if a different jamming style can have a bit more success. And clearly Psycho's strongman training here clearly showing some benefit.
Don't quote me on it, but I think this is the first pass to Claire of the day. And clearly showing she hasn't forgotten those jammer skills.
No, that brute strength being a very different jamming style.
You may take the star off the jammer, but doesn't mean the jamming's left.
Jock and Roll lining up against Sinn Féin on the jammer line.
And a strong start for Shin.
I didn't even see where Shin got out of the pack there.
I think they managed just to knock a Newcastle blocker out and just took the nice gap that was left.
Oh, goodness me. We've got another little situation of a jammer switcheroo.
Good thing we have a very lovely, experienced NSO in the penalty box to just make that really smooth transition.
This does mean it once again will be a 2-minute jam. The jammers looking to make the most of this time that they have. Shin fighting at the back, Jock fighting at the front. Oh, Sinn Féin returning to the penalty box.
I didn't see what for. Just that lovely little pocket of things that happens on the opposite apex to us that is just an unknown space.
I know, if you wouldn't mind doing all of your naughties just in front of us, that'd be grand. Thank you.
Or not to do the naughties. But, you know.
Jock and Roll rushing around the track to try and maximise the opportunity presented to them by this power jam scenario. Very quick second scoring pass there.
Shin showing their strength as they come back onto track.
Absolutely powering through. Jock and Roll glancing at the clock very briefly there. What do I need to do to get my points before that whistle goes?
Every second counts.
Every second counts. So we've got Days lining up against Lady Lethal. Both of these jammers can be very explosive off the line. So I imagine these blockers will be looking to try and contain that speed, that agility. Days working hard to try and create a bit of space for themselves in the middle of the wall. Lady Lethal driving that wall forward at the front.
With I think it's Laura Lockdown, and I'm not sure who the other blocker was, but they're making it hard work at the top of that pack then.
Oh, we've got a jammer penalty. That means that Belfast are going to benefit from a power jam. So if that's 30 seconds of one jammer, one focus on the track. Will Newcastle be able to contain it? Will Belfast be able to maximise on the opportunity? And our blockers have made it all the way around the track.
We do love that when that happens.
Close the circle. Still incredibly close. Just 8 points between these two teams.
With 6 minutes left of the half.
I'd love to know what was going to be said in this halftime talk. Both teams, of course, having played the equivalent of a full game before this one. So this is the equivalent of their second game of the day.
Tink making quick work of that pack, with Hooley very closely following.
Yeah, this will be where the team's stamina, their muscle memory really starts to kick in. This will be where we see which team trains hardest.
And have also fueled themselves right for the day. As you said earlier, like it's really difficult when you've got these 30-minute games and the breaks in between to just make sure you fueled your body right.
And the mental resilience, of course, as well, that goes along with a tournament day. It can be incredibly mentally fatiguing as well.
And especially for teams that have travelled to be here, obviously Newcastle and Belfast are not that close to Leeds. So they probably had a bit of an early start to get here. So very impressive to keep this tenacity all day.
Absolutely. Her energy is just boundless. So Tink not quite quick enough to be able to start with a power jam start for Newcastle there. So we will be starting, however, Belfast will be starting with a severely deficit wall, just 2 blockers on track. And we do need a jammer.
Shin's making their way. They're coming.
Shinpain speeding around to the back of the pack.
Haven't seen that in a long time, the jammer starting from so far away.
I think she thought, well, I'm back here, let's give myself a good run up.
Jock's not going to let that distract them. They're going to keep their mind focused.
Jock and Roll claiming lead there, taking advantage of that depleted Belfast wall, while Shinpain fights her way through at the front of the pack. And Newcastle making that call, preventing Belfast from widening or catching up at Newcastle.
It was very momentarily a drawn game.
Oof, oof, oof. Such an exciting game.
They're keeping us on our toes. That's what they're trying to do.
They really are. Every time I look at that scoreboard, I'm like, what's going on now? But who's looking at the scoreboard when the action on the track is so electric?
Ooh.
Oh, wow. What a great bit of awareness there from Days. Zooming up the outside line. Absolutely great bit of offensive work there. Newcastle containing that jammer whilst also just keeping those blockers out of their jammer's way. Newcastle absolutely dominating this jam.
And a star pass to Kathy Payne, I believe. I wonder if any resemblance in the name.
I think Days is after Shinpain's highest jam points crown. And another power jam. Oh my goodness. I mean, if anybody's playing roller derby bingo right now, I think the only thing that we're missing is Eat the Baby. Of course, we did see that attempted in the first game. Oh.
Slight little cut there, unfortunately. If you're going to call the jam off, you need to make sure that you're either straddling or off track. Unfortunate, but it happens. They had a great rest of the jam.
And this is it. This is why it's so important to be aware of everything that's going on around you. It's one of the hardest things about playing this game, is being aware of everything that's going on around you.
There is just so much to keep a track of.
Belfast just calling that jam there. 20 points to 4 on that jam.
And they've hit the century for Newcastle. So, as I've mentioned a few times, if you are a person that partakes in the roller derby beverage game, this would be a time to sip.
Belfast will be hoping to maximise the opportunity presented by the few seconds that they have here, with just one jammer to be paying attention to. Well, that's it. That's advantage over. Both jumpers are now back on track. That was a direction, I believe.
It happens.
Such a lot of energy happening on the track right now.
That other side of the apex seeing all the love. Just so we can just slightly glare at it from over here.
Days trying to find a way, desperately trying to find a way to get the star through the pack there. And Days has managed to find a way through the pack for the star by passing it along to their pivots.
Thank you, pivots. Continued appreciation of you today. It looks like that's half time. We've made it through to half time.
That was the quickest first half in the history of first halves. We will very shortly we will now be drawing the raffle. Let me run across with a microphone so we can announce the raffle. You.
And that's half time. Announcers are coming. We're on the way.
Champagne straight out of the pack there to claim the first lead jammer of the second half. I was incredibly distracted by the amazing stock that
We arrive in
stalls
style.
have today. So apologies for our late announcing start to the second half.
And a star pass to Clearly Psycho for Newcastle.
Was that a stash or a pass?
It was a pass. It's the pivot cover is on the floor in front of us.
I got so confused. Our wonderful NSO team trying frantically to get the pivot helmet cover back to the Newcastle bench.
A nice little reminder.
Dear me, Claire, if you want to wear the star that badly.
Never retired.
Okay, looks like we've got a very quick official gaggle going on. Just enough time to give us for us to let you know that lining up on the start line, this time we have Lady Lethal against Jock and Roll. What a busy day.
We just have 30 minutes of great action roller derby left to go to tidy that off for you.
30 minutes. And we've still only got 9 points between these two phenomenal teams.
It's an official timeout, but I'm not very sure what we're discussing. Maybe dinner later?
I am, however, incredibly jealous of that mushroom snuggle that one of our NSOs are wearing in the middle there. You can just see it poking out between Moz chops. What a fantastic snuggly mushroom themed.
And I bet Becky made that themselves. Such a talented crafter.
People who have actual real life useful skills. So jealous. And we are off for the second jam of this half. The two walls slightly separating out as the jammers fight their way through. And this time it is Lady Lethal that claims lead jammer. Jock and roll hot on her wheels. And goodness me, was that a 3-3 jam? 3 points claimed by each jammer during that very quick jam. Tink and Hooley becoming quite a familiar pairing now on track for this game. Both really high energy jammers. Tink at the front at the moment and Hooley at the back. Of course, we all know how quickly that can change.
That Belfast 2-war really trying to lock them down there. I think it might be a solo player at the moment, actually.
Hooley just dancing and gambling for that inside line, but not quite making it. Those long legs, however, seeing her take that line this time to claim lead jammer.
Well done.
Tink still fighting her way through the pack.
So,
that
well
Belfast wall just reforming and reforming and reforming again in front of her.
Number 7 really pulling out all the stops in this jam. Just great blocking.
Tinkerbell or Neo from the Matrix? So Newcastle losing 2 blockers there to the sin bin. One for a direction call, and I missed the second one.
And in that collection of whistles, I missed the star pass from for Newcastle to Claire.
It does mean that Belfast will be going into this jam with a significant pack advantage.
Oh, yes. And as it remains still a 5-point game. So close.
Currently just 5 points separating these two titans of roller derby. Sinn Féin taking advantage of that pack advantage. I need to think of some more adjectives.
Negro not letting that stop them.
We've not seen as much of egg rolls as a jammer in this game so far, I don't think, but they are doing incredibly well to fight through this tough Belfast wall. Newcastle regaining a full complement of blockers now as the jammers re-engage with the pack. Sinn Féin hoping to have maintained the point advantage there. Ooh, with that lead closing to just 2 points for Newcastle. Sabotage and Lady Lethal on track as our jammers for this jam. Both sets of blockers really punishing the jammers, with Sabotage being sent to the box.
I believe for a cut track.
For a cut track, and closely followed by her pivot mate, Claire Lysyko. This does mean that Belfast have a power jam with a pack advantage. This is an ideal scenario for Belfast right now.
Yeah. Newcastle won't let them have it easy, though. They will try and shut that down as much as possible.
Belfast opting to maintain that jammer and blocker advantage as we go into the next jam. So this in theory should mean that Hooley has a few seconds where her blockers will be just focused on getting them through the pack. The Newcastle blockers will just be focused on trying to stop Hooley, and it will just be a few second advantage. But it's just enough for them to be able to steal lead before the Newcastle jammer joins the track.
And Laura Lockdown again, being really good on that inside line to just use their shoulder to just knock that jammer lightly off, just use their momentum against them. And there's a great opportunity to recycle them.
It's taking those edges for a jammer. It's so tempting when you see a space, but it can be such a dangerous space to occupy.
Especially when you have someone who's very healthily covering that line and they're just going to coax you into it and be like, "Go on, take this. It's easy." And then bam.
Oh yes, the observant blocker can very much take advantage of your confidence on a line. But Belfast did manage to take advantage of the power jam start in that last jam to regain another 4 points, just slightly extending that lead. Sinn Pain and Jock and Roll starting as our jammers for this jam number 7 of the second half. Jock and Roll stealing lead, but Sinn Pain piling on the pressure. So of course Jock and Roll is the lead jammer here. However, Sinn Pain did manage to get the upper hand in that jam, smashing through to get 4 points against Jock and Roll's 3 in that jam. Do you know, I think this is my favourite jammer pair-up of this game. Days versus Lady Lethal. They're both quite similar in their jammer style, both very, very energetic jammers, dancing around behind the pack to try and create a space in the wall. It's just lovely to watch, and you never know who's going to come out on top.
A very nice pair. And Days just clinched the lead for this jam. Just a nice little spin on the inside of the apex, surprisingly enough today, as the favourite spot for us to get out, as jammers, I mean.
Shocking.
Who would have known?
Days gliding through the pack there to on their first scoring pass. And again for their second.
Always lovely to have an uncontested pass.
When this skater gets momentum, they just don't seem to be able to be stopped. Oh!
And a lovely star pass to Kathy Payne. What a lovely jam.
What a wonderful jam.
Excellent things all round.
So this time we have Hooley up against Tinkerbell. Both jammers zooming out. However, one of them is heading for the sin bin. So Tink does have lead jammer status, meaning that they do have control of this jam.
And just number 7 being that another line of defence for Belfast, really strong on that top of the pack, solo blocking.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely bit of defensive play here from Belfast. Nice hits, but really calm, controlled. And Hooley taking advantage of that. That Newcastle offence, though. Such good offence.
Hooley managing to squeeze 3 points, I think, out of that last pass there before the jam was called, was what I was going to say. Yeah.
Jock and Roll lining up against Champagne.
I think this is also becoming a very classic pairing.
Yeah. Two quite different styles of jamming, I feel, from these two players, though. Champagne with incredible endurance and strength. And Jock just seeming to be able to make a space in the wall out of absolutely nothing. Champagne snagging a sneaky 3 points there, slightly closing the gap to just 5 points.
I'm glad there's a slight draft to keep us cool, because I am getting very game warm of just this constant lead change.
Oh, a little bit of jammer shenanigans there off the line.
An egg roll. Egg rolls out for a nice lead there for Newcastle.
Multiplayers must be something that that you've got to keep an eye on when you've got such strong walls like that. Ooh, lovely, lovely little star pass there. Right on the inside line. I don't think the Newcastle blockers had any idea that it was happening. Ho-ho!
And I think Newcastle have just noticed that star pass.
Oh my goodness gracious me!
Lady Lethal doing an excellent job there to hide that the star pass had already happened on the lap before.
That thing of continuing to jam, even though you're not the jammer anymore, just to give your pivot / new jammer that opportunity to sneak around track. Lovely bit of roller
derby. And Kathy
derby.
just proving that, pivots. We're really grateful because you do an excellent job.
And that was another big scoring jam there. 16 points for Newcastle. But with that sneaky star pass, Belfast able to claw back 8 points there.
To maintain a really close game.
Oh my goodness. I don't think that my nerves can cope with this. I'm getting on a bit. Me poor heart.
Me poor heart.
I mean, as a neutral watching this game, what a treat of a final we have here.
And I repeat, Laura Lockdown's shoulder on that inside apex is just a force to be reckoned with.
She does not leave any space.
There are no prisoners.
No space, no mercy. Both jammers absolutely fighting. Oh, I apologise.
Yeah, Dave's got a little cut.
A power jam scenario. It was the goat, the Newcastle, one of the Newcastle blockers was being goated at the back of the pack in order for Belfast to maintain pack control.
And just shows the quality of the blocking for like just how long that took for that transition to happen. It was nearly a perfect penalty kill.
The energy that Days was expending there to just drive that wall forward. What power. What athleticism. Hooley looking to the bench. Lovely timed call off there. Just preventing Newcastle's Days from scoring any points at the end of that jam. Sinn Féin lining up against Tinkerbell. Ooh, Shin just taking the lead there, but Tink fighting very hard. Even after face planting somebody else's crotch, I think. We've all been there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very up close and personal game, isn't it?
We just like to get close to each other. It's okay.
Sinn Féin picking up a cut penalty there, leaving Newcastle with a power jam scenario with pack advantage as well.
So this will be a 2-minute jam.
It will indeed.
Tink making light work of that pass.
Newcastle would be very happy for this opportunity to extend the lead here. Of course, every second that a jammer's sat in a box is a second where they can't be scoring points. And I would not want to be facing a full 4 wall of Belfast blockers. I can tell you that much for note.
Making it tough work for offense, but
what hard-fought passes for both of those jammers there. Tink just been ran back there, but I'm not sure that I would give Tinkerbell that much of a run-up if I was if I were the Belfast blockers. It's always a question mark, isn't it, when you have control of a jammer? Should you knock them off and run them back and give them that opportunity for a run-up, or should you just contain them in a nice spot on the track and risk them driving you out of play?
yeah, a very hard decision, and I think it's very dependent on the jammer, and then also very dependent on how the jammer's faring in that jam.
Yeah.
Like, we're near the end of the game now. People are getting a bit tired.
Very much so, yeah. And of course, it does depend on what's happening in the game as well. So this has continued to be an incredibly close game. Newcastle just starting to pull away ever so slightly, but still less than 20 points between the two teams.
We've seen several people put up 20-point jams today. It's not
16 points. Is that my math? 16 points difference between them? I think that's right.
I'm just going to say yes, because my brain is not doing that math.
And we know that 16 points jam is more than possible on this track in this great Yorkshire Showdown day. We've seen jams go well above 16 points today.
Absolutely, and we've only got 9 minutes and 20 seconds. So 16 points. It can go either way.
The officials just making sure that all the officialing is officialing accurately. Take this opportunity to give our officials another big shout out. We could not host days like today without our amazing officials crews. They are fantastic. It's a long day for those guys, and we appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
Thank you, officials. We love you.
Woo woo! And it looks like there's a little jammer switcheroo for Belfast.
And in case anybody missed that was 5 seconds. What a scrum! What a great fight there for Jock and Roll to fight a way out and gain lead jammer. Of course, Shin starting that jam in the penalty box.
Oh, lovely group offense there by Newcastle.
So Shin does have a bit of a hill to climb now to see if she can scrape back the opportunities that have been missed by starting that last jam in the penalty box. But being denied by Jock and Roll. What a quick and snappy call off. And what a successful jam for Newcastle roller derby. Just 22 points separate Newcastle and Belfast with 8 minutes left on the clock. This could be anybody's game at this point. And that's Lady Lethal exploding out of the front of the pack to gain lead jammer status. Egg Rolls following after a star stash. A very quick hit and quits there. How many points will they be awarded? Is that a full 4?
I think it's 3.
3 points there for Lady Lethal.
Yeah.
I thought we'd gone back 15 years there with knee starts, but I think
they're just having a little stretch.
A little bit of a hip stretch there. A little bit of a hip stretch from Darcy. Got to be looking after those hip flexors. So we have Days versus Hooley.
Oh, what a start.
Days has been incredibly successful off the line today. Nicely called there, I think. Nice and safe, protecting the points, picking up a couple, denying Belfast anything. Newcastle just slowly edging away here. I mean, it's still very recoverable for Belfast, just 21 points there.
Yep. Still all to play for with 6 minutes to go.
Like we keep saying, that's one big jam. And if anybody can do it, it's Shin who's lined up right now against Jock and Roll. Both jammers dancing around at the back of the pack there, trying to find a space to explode through. However, it is Jock that gains lead jammer. Shin hot on their wheels. What a beam dip. Beautiful there.
Yeah. And Sinn being proud of that, as they should be.
Sinn Féin should be very proud of that hustle to get around the track, making sure that they can take full advantage.
It's always good to be your own cheerleader as well, and you feel really good about it.
Absolutely. If you can't celebrate your own wins, why should anybody else?
So it seems that wasn't a hip stretch from the jam before. It just seems that that's something that Darcy Tussle is doing on the jam starts now. A nice little...
Just trying to take up space on the line.
Yeah. Not that common. Interesting to see. And good fast work for Tinkerbell to either it was made use of that or...
That was a bit fancy, wasn't it? Beautiful bit of line work on the outside line there from Tinkerbell.
They have very good backwards one-footed control. I think I've seen that from the rest of this day and last GYSD. They were very good at controlling themselves coming around the pack like that.
Absolutely,
very successful.
Yeah, going back to that starting position from Darcy, though, I don't think it's something that I personally would like to do. It's quite a vulnerable position, but obviously it is just throwing Belfast off just enough.
It would definitely put me off any contact.
Feels like it would be quite a vulnerable position to be in, but if it is enough to make your opposition doubt themselves, doubt where they can position themselves, then more power to you. So we do have Hooley just sneaking the lead there. However, they are being chased down quite hard by Egg Rolls here. And she has taken the safe bet and called the jam. Ooh, although Newcastle did manage to sneak one there.
Nice little confusion there of what's happening with Belfast. A little bit of a pivot switch, I think.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of a missed the skater in the penalty box there. So both of these walls are starting off with a blocker in the penalty bin. And Jock and Roll taking the first set of points in this jam. And it's a hit and quit, nice and safe.
With 2:20 left on the clock for this game, the final of GYSD 2025.
Just 29 points separate these two teams. It has been a phenomenal game so far. And of course, we know that a lot can happen in the 2 to 3 jams that we've got left on the clock, potentially. A lot can happen in this time. Belfast will be trying really hard to figure out how they can steal back these last few points. Trying to think how they can take control of these last few jams so they can rack up a few points. Newcastle will be wanting to stay safe and maintain and possibly extend that lead a little bit, which...
So from my visual vantage point, I believe it was an illegal procedure or out of contact hit, and potentially after the whistle of that last jam that has sent Sinn Féin to the penalty box for this jam.
So yeah, Newcastle in a prime position right now to be able to slightly extend their lead and keep a nice safe lead potentially here. It is a good place to be this close to the end of the game, to have a power jam start. And Tinkerbell taking full advantage of that.
And just lovely footwork from Tinkerbell to just mosey past the blockers there.
I'm really excited to see how Tink develops after joining Newcastle roller derby. Such a lot of potential in this player. And exactly what we've seen from this last portion of this second period from Newcastle, grabbing those points, keeping safe, just preventing Belfast from scoring any points, just in an effort to slightly widen this lead as much as they can. Just 1 minute left on the period clock. Jock and Roll lining up against Lady Lethal on the jam line.
Oh, lovely control there from Jock and Roll, just to stay nicely in bounds and just to squeeze down that tiny gap, as jammers do. They're like cats, just liquid, but solid.
I maintain that jammers are at least 50% liquid. The spaces that they can squeeze themselves through. Jock and Roll looking incredibly happy as she comes round that turn 3.
I was just about to say, that was a smile, a good smile. Lady Lethal absolutely fighting.
Jock and Roll looking to make the decision now.
And a big patient recycle from Laura Lockdown there on Lady Lethal.
Their bench crew will be keeping an eye on the clock.
There they go. Lady Lethal out on their scoring pass.
And there we have it. Jock and Roll calling off that, the last jam of Great Yorkshire Showdown 2025. What a game. So close right the way through to the last few minutes.
Everyone should be proud of themselves for the effort they've put in today. So, well done Belfast, well done Newcastle.
Well done Leeds, well done Durham.
And Glasgow. Sorry,
well
our
done to
brains
Glasgow.
just went blank then. Well
Goodness
done,
me.
all the teams, officials, medics. And thank you to you, Sass. We've had a great day.
Thank you to you as well, Gabby. I've had a lovely time.
You've had a lovely time. Right. We'll just sign off for now and enjoy the rest of the evening. See you next time.
What do I do with my time now that I've not got a microphone to talk to?
To not talk to anybody else for the rest of the day and rest our voices.
Thank you and good night.
And good night.